JRTV is back with the 2004 NASCAR Nextel Cup Series season, and for the first time on the season, we are under the lights Saturday night racing at a short track, and for the first ever time in Nextel Cup Series history, it's at the Myrtle Beach Speedway for the running of the Hooters 400, just over half a mile in length. This is going to be one great race here today at Myrtle Beach. Not only is it a new racetrack, drivers have to figure that out. It's a short track that's a big equalizer in terms of equipment, and it all depends upon driver skill at a track like this. I'm Joe Rakowski, alongside me in the booth, Trey Bardo. And Trey, what a sight we have here. Another short track added to the Nextel Cup Series schedule. Under the lights, Saturday night. What's not to like about here tonight?
I don't know. I don't think there is anything to not like about this. I mean, but just by looking at the track, Joe, this is something that might throw the drivers off a little bit.
Yes, it is. It's a very unique kind of setup around here. Pretty low banked corners, low bank straightaways, but also a little bit of a curve in the front stretch. There's a lot of possibility for action here tonight. And by the way, Trey, they've only had a little bit of practice, so they don't really know what it's going to be like when they're out there racing against 41 other drivers. You know, are they going to be able to go 3 wide, 4 wide? How wide can they go? How much grip is the track going to have under the lights? There's a lot of unknowns coming in tonight, Trey. That's what's going to make here so exciting here tonight.
Is there any place we can go that 4 wide is acceptable? I don't really think there's a lot of places that can work out too well.
And probably not a short track either, right? It's just half a mile, but you never know. The front stretch is pretty wide in terms of short track front stretches, but you definitely want to not be anything probably more than 2 or 3 wide once you get down to the corners where they kind of narrow up and the groove narrows up. So we'll have to see how it all unfolds here today at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. But some underdog stories in qualifying as the short track, as mentioned, so driver skill comes into play. Laura Chung for Evernham trying to find something good this season. She has not yet scored a top 10. She starts in second. You have right behind her Anthony Hernandez in the number 1, starting in 4th. Nathan Baird is starting in 5th. Hunter Reed, winner at Talladega, looking to go back-to-back. He starts in 8th place. And then just outside the top 10, you have drivers like John Barrymore inside the top 15. Angel Gutierrez inside the top 15. Max Davis is starting well in the 21 car. So, Trey, a lot of underdog stories qualifying well here at the short track. Could we maybe see an upset winner for the first ever time here at Myrtle Beach?
Oh, 100%. I mean, this is about as level as a playing field as you can get here. Like you said, drivers did not have very long time to practice on this. They don't really know what they're getting into, especially on race conditions. So, I mean, really, anything can go here. We got a couple of surprises in the top 10 qualifying, and you know, honestly, Joe, I'm not putting anything out of the reach for anyone on this track.
As it's nearly time to get going, we'll take a look at some of the track facts here tonight for the Myrtle Beach Speedway. Clear skies here tonight, 71 degrees, so a pretty nice night here in South Carolina, and a lot of wind, those 7 miles an hour. We'll have to see how that plays havoc on the drivers here tonight. It's, as mentioned, just over half a mile of length, 0.538 miles. That's 0.866 kilometers. This is an 80-lap race. That's 43.04 miles. The fuel window, this could be a big one to watch out for, 43 to 50 laps. It's a very wide fuel window. Some drivers might come in sooner trying to get the tires on, but that could, you know, leave them in a position where they're a lap or 2 down and could get a caution flag in the middle of that. So we'll have to see, do the drivers push long? Do they come in early, try and get tires on? 13 degrees banking in the corners, only 4 degrees on the front stretch, and 3 degrees on the back stretch. And the drivers that did not qualify here tonight, the 8 drivers going home: Henry Guo, Skylar Taylor, Zachary Fitzwater Sr., Nathan Norman, Nathan Stapleton, Colin Teague, Marcus Lerb, and Joe Staubs. And before we go down trackside for the command, the audience pick here tonight was Matthew Burnett. So Burnett got 48% of the vote. We'll have to see. He finished second at the last short track, but his car was found to be illegal, and he lost all the points he got at Martinsville. We'll have to see. He starts 3rd here tonight. That's a pretty heavy candidate to maybe get to victory lane for the first ever race here at Myrtle Beach. So looking on trackside, fire the cars up. 42 cars going for 1 victory here at Myrtle Beach.
Drivers, start your engines.
Forty-two cars rolling off for a quick pace lap here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. Trey, let's go to your pick to win, starting outside pole, Laura Chung. Why do you think she's getting the victory lane here tonight?
I mean, Joe, like we mentioned, this is really anyone's race, and it's not often you see her up front here, so I think she's going to take full advantage of that thing, get a good start here, and rock it off with the lead and not look back.
And I'm picking back in 10th place, car number 2, Justin Zeidel. He's trying to look for some momentum. He got a top 10 last race at Talladega. Starts inside the top 10 here. It's a short track. He likes these short tracks. I think Zeidel can get to victory lane here tonight. But they'll have to get by Chris Jericho, the first ever pole sitter at Myrtle Beach. He'll lead us to the green flag, and for the first ever time, the Nextel Cup Series is underway for Myrtle Beach. Down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4, 3 wide already. Down to the inside, Justin Atkins made the big move on Nathan Baird and Anthony Hernandez. Jericho gets away, leads the first lap. Burnett gets to second. Atkins, that big move, moves down to fourth, going for third on Laura Chung. Jordan Stout moves to the inside as well, the number 6. They're still 3 wide off turn 2 and down the back straightaway.
Now, they got to be careful here because we don't know what it's going to act like. It seems like these corners squeeze a bit. You can see the one.
Oh!
Behind. Oh, big hit for the 2.
And they come down the racetrack. And it's a log jam off of turn number 4. The caution flag is out. We have cars sitting over there. Max Davis is one of them. Evan Hunter may have gotten away with it, the 36, but Justin Zeidel, Hunter Reed were the first two to go around. Max Davis had nowhere to go. He's involved. Luckily, the caution flag came out, so those drivers didn't have to race back around. But that was aggressive racing on lap number 3, Trey. I think it was Eli Bright stuck the nose to the inside of the 45. Hunter Reed came down. Eli was there, and Eli did not lift. Spun Reed up, and Zeidel took one hellacious impact into the outside concrete, it looked like.
Yeah, that was not the hit we were hoping to see. We hope he's all right, but that was major damage. You can see right here the 97, big rear end damage for him.
Points leader, Jay Rando, even the front end scrunched up as well, so I have to see, do they come down, try and repair that? That's not good for the points leader. He built up nice points gap. There's Hunter Reed, first car to go around. He's scrunched up on the rear, but he got away with it. Luke Rainey, the 88, second in the points, has some damage as well on that number 88 Ford. John Barrymore might have some damage on the 14 as well, all the way back here to maybe some others like Ahmed Walid. We obviously saw now Ryan Wilson with damage, and it looks like obviously some cars are going to be out from that crash. But an early caution flag here at Myrtle Beach on lap number 3. Eli Bright and Hunter Reed collects a lot more in turns 3 and 4. Everyone trying to get spots early on. Eli Bright 3 wide on Zeidel and Keyshawn Richardson. Has a shallow entry into the corner. He sends it in, Trey. Hunter Reed's trying to come down the racetrack, make his corner entry, and I think Eli may have overcooked it a little bit too much. And the weird thing, though, Trey, he never gets off of him.
Yeah, that was very strange. But watch this hit by the 2 here into the outside wall. Oh, my goodness, Joe. The front of the car lifted off the ground.
Yeah, that's when you know he hit big. And then Richardson comes down. He gets the front 2 in points. He gets Barrymore and Ryan Wilson. Max Davis hits Zeidel. You see Drew Martinelli trying to drive through it. All these others trying to stop or at least, find a way through it, keep going. But, I mean, it's a narrow part of the racetrack off turn number 4. There's walls on either side. They're basically 5 wide there trying to avoid it. And, trying to avoid Luke Rainey up here as well. Cars are stopping, and there's cars everywhere on the front stretch. The first caution flag is out here at Myrtle Beach. We'll take a look in full speed. Here it is, Trey, once again at full speed, and just Eli sending it into the corner. Hunter Reed and Eli stayed together, and Zeidel with that big impact, and the car's just piling in with nowhere to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's a short track, but it has decent speed to it, so you're going to have log jams like that. And majority of the damage from most of these guys, Joe, is just from that log jamming effect right there, especially this 97. Wasn't really, that greatly involved, but got run into, and that really is what set it off for him.
Yeah, so how about last race at Talladega? A lot of the front runners in points, 3 of them, Evan Hunter, Chris Jericho, Matt was involved in an early caution flag. It allowed Rando to pull away from them nicely. Here tonight, the front 2 in points, Jay Rando, Luke Rennie get early damage, while the driver tied for 3rd in points, Chris Jericho, leads from pole position in the Hooters 400, trying to regain the points he lost in the last 2 races at Montreal and Talladega. Jericho leads the pack here at Myrtle Beach. Back here on JRTV, the wreck has been cleaned up. We're ready to go back green on lap number 8. Chris Jericho in the lead. The 2 cars out, and unfortunately to the garage, a short race here at the first ever Myrtle Beach racetrack. It is Max Davis and Justin Zeidel to the garage. They are both done. Every other car still out there running. At the front, it's Jericho, then Burnett, Laura Chung, Atkins, and Stout, the front 5. Then you have Baird in 6th, Rotube 7th, Hernandez 8th, Thompson 9th, winner at Martinsville, and a top 10 for Eli Bright in the number 8. Green flag back in the air. Jericho again, another nice jump. Matthew Burnett spins the tires from 2nd place, allows Laura Chung to get to his back bumper in turns 1 and 2 as cars go up the racetrack, and some trying to look low. Stout and Atkins nearly made contact off turn 2. Oh!
Contact.
Wow,
He
more
kept it going, though.
Yeah, they got sideways, but they kept their cars going straight. Most of the pack trying to get racing with each other, but keep it clean as they race into turns 1 and 2. They see up the racetrack big for Nathan Barrett. He goes way up near the wall, nearly gets into it. He drops back. Burnett got a great exit of turn 2. He gets away from Laura Chung a little bit, as now Stout may have Laura Chung down to the inside as they race into 1. Chung trying to take that line away into turn number 1, but Stout was already down there. That number 6 Trey rolling very well down the bottom of the racetrack, making moves work lap after lap since the start of this race.
Yeah, and I'll be curious if, maybe running that bottom side might help with tires a little bit here. You never really know, especially since, I don't know what these guys all looked at in practice. I think for the most part, it was just trying to make sure they can get the car to really handle. And someone who is struggling to handle their car right now, Joe, at 19, they are kind of stuck on the outside, and it looks like they can't get the car to settle at all.
You were saying, what were they looking at in practice? I think for this 19, they were maybe looking at how to make that car turn, because right now it is plowing, it looks like, through the center of the corner. She cannot get the car down at all, and she's up top 3 wide now as Keegan Thompson makes the big move on Hernandez, on Laura Chung. That number 5 going places. Winner at Martinsville a few races ago. The track very similar to this one, Trace. You see on pit road, Hunter Reed, that's a very tough break. Not only, obviously getting involved in the one spun in this first accident, but also off that momentum, off that high of winning at Talladega. Now it's all gone away in just a few laps here at Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, and that's just, the highs and lows of racing in this series is that you go from, like you said, winning one week to wrecking lap 1 on the next one, right? And it's just some things you got to deal with and try to bounce back from that. But right now we're looking at, again, 3 wide. They got to be careful here because last time we did that, they caused with a couple of pretty big hits. So hopefully they learn their lesson this time.
Nearly contact for third between 2 Fords. Riley Spurgeon aggressive with Jordan Stout, gets the inside, gets third spot away. Want to give a shout out to the driver right behind this number 8 car. Angel Gutierrez has made another race this season. Remember last season at a short track at Richmond, he finished inside the top 3 and 3rd. Here he is now at Myrtle Beach, a good short track, qualified in 15th straight, currently running up inside the top 10 in 8th in that battle with Laura Chung for that spot. What a great run for this BAM Racing driver.
Yeah, he is. They're definitely showing out right now, and we'll have to see if they can continue to march their way forward right now, really letting Eli kind of pave the way for them, right? And they're just kind of filling in the gap behind him, but it's working to their credit, and still a guy who's working the bottom and moving up forward, just like that 70 is this 6 of Stout.
And he has Riley Spurgeon in front trying to work that bottom as well. Matthew Burnett as he's looking to the inside, but Spurgeon didn't get the drive off, so he kind of drops back. See Gutierrez looking inside Eli Bright. I think Trey now, the drivers are starting to kind of see that their tires are falling off. They can't really get into the gas as hard as possible, and it might be affecting their drive off of the corners.
Yeah, and that's just, one of the downsides of a long run here is that the tires are going to, really come into effect, and they're going to have to really adapt how they want to drive here. You can see right there, the 6 sent it in, the 28 tried to adjust. Looks like the tires got out from underneath him, and the car drifted up the track big time, but was able to only lose 1 spot from that and hold off the 5, but they're still hard charging right now. But Joe, it definitely seemed like what Stout was doing was when he was riding that bottom, it really saved his stuff, and he's still moving forward with everyone else struggling right now.
He's looking for second now. Matthew Burnett, that 25, trying to get the drive off the top of turns 3 and 4, but Stout has the preferred lane in turns 1 and 2 down to the inside. Stout's going to grab second away. Now he has his sights set on the man who's led every lap from pole position, Chris Jericho, in car number 18. Burnett goes way wide. He might lose third spot to Riley Spurgeon. Stout gets away in seconds. Now he just has his eyes out the windshield, nothing in the mirror right now. If he can just hit his laps consistently, he can try and get there and get Chris Jericho. Spurgeon gets the third. Burnett trying to get down maybe in 4th place in front of teammate Keegan Thompson. He'll look for the switchback on Riley Spurgeon. That is for 3rd place. They're still battling side by side. Burnett had the 28 get by him. Now he's saying not so fast, trying to get back by him, but the 28 just too good off turn number 4 on the outside. Should be able to keep that spot. Then behind Burnett, his teammate Keegan Thompson. Then Justin Atkins looking for a good run. 3 wide further back inside the top 10. Crown Jr. looked on Eli Bright and Laura Chung, but thinks better of it. He gets back in line. Eli gets to 9th by Laura Chung. Crown Jr., the winning owner last race at Talladega, looking to break inside the top 10 to get by that number 19 car.
Working the bottom right now. We'll have to see if he can get a run off of it. I think they're still going to be side by side going back into, where are we at? 3 and 4. Yeah, we're at 3 and 4 right now. Joe, it's a new track. I'm trying to learn it still.
Yep. Luckily, it's an oval, so it's easy to know where you are. You know, a few weeks ago at Montreal, it was like, all right, are we in turn? Whatever, you know, there's too many turns, but here it's either in 1, 2, 3, or 4, and luckily it's easy to tell. 3 wide math as well as into turns 3 and 4.
Oh, the 22.
Oh, and Laura Chung, wow.
Well,
She barely kept that thing out of the wall. I don't know how she didn't impact the wall, but that was probably as close as you come to being in the wall without actually being in the wall.
Yeah, we're at the point in the race now where these guys are, I mean, if they're on the outside, they're trying to drive it in to contest that position, but right there you can see with the 20, the tires are not going to withstand that. They're not going to like that. You're going to lose the front end of the car, run it up the racetrack. Now, at that point, the driver's really chasing the car, and they're just trying to catch it before it hits the outside wall, which so far everyone's done. The closest we've seen, I think, was the 19 of Laura Chung. But yeah, you got to be careful now with really trying to run the guy on the outside. You see the 22 almost fell victim to that as well.
See, the 20 actually has some left front damage, probably from that stack up early on with that caution flag, but that car's still going pretty well. It's only minor damage. Looks like in a short track like this, that's not going to affect much. It's currently battle for 11th, he and DeLello. Martinelli in 13th, trying to join that as well, going for 12th on math as well as Lathan Strickland moving through the field nicely. That number 48 car. Laura Chung has finally found a way down to the bottom, but she's well back outside the top 10, outside the top 15 now. Trying to get by Nathan Baird for 15. Jerry Chen inside the top 20. Tim Gary trying to move up in the number 10 car, and some others as well trying to move their way from the back of the field, like Sebastian Kukulan, currently just outside the top 20, but he started way back in last place because he failed post-qualifying inspection. Up at the front, some more battling going on. Keegan Thompson's got by Riley Spurgeon to move into third place. Now he has it sights on Jordan Stout, who's not been able to really run down Chris Jericho. Maybe this number 5 can. We know Thompson very good at these short tracks, and here he is, you know, just like Martinsville, methodically moving up towards the front of the field.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jericho was kind of pacing himself there. He got himself out to a comfortable lead, and he was able to probably, you know, really go at the pace he wanted to go at that point, kind of save his stuff now, and everything's... My goodness!
What a dive for Gutierrez into turns 3 and 4, but he couldn't make it work. He nearly got into that number 3, Justin Atkins, but luckily they kept them off each other. Everyone kept going straight. We're still under the green flag, but Gutierrez being aggressive. He doesn't have all these chances to run at the front of the field like some of these guys up here. He's making the most of it right now. He's trying to get every spot he can. As Keegan Thompson trying to get every spot he can, going for second on Stout. The 6 gets a little bit of a better run, but the 5 could dive to the bottom of turn 1 right here. He's shown the nose. He's going to have position, and I think he might take that position away.
Yeah, and I mean, really the only one liking this right now is either the 28 behind this battle or the 18 in front of it, because 28, you're gaining time on them. With the 18, well, you're also gaining time on them.
Yep, that's the great part of being out front, right, is that you can just pace yourself, and you don't have to get too big of a lead, but you can also keep the lead while everyone battles back behind you. And that's what they're doing right now. They're battling very aggressively for the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, all the way back to all these positions. See Thompson again moving low on Jordan Stout, trying to grab that 2nd spot away. Further back, Eli Bright moves to 9th by Crown Jr. Those two swap positions again. Thompson once again, though, looks down to the bottom of turns 1 and 2, trying to get the drive off, and this time, Trey, he might have it. He's side by side with Stout to turn 3. He can send him up a little bit, and that's what he does. He sends Stout up. Car number 5 moves to 2nd, so he had to get a little bit aggressive with it, but that's just short track racing, isn't it, Trey?
Yeah, I think the only one upset about them, it was going to be the 6, and we'll have to see if the 6 can make his way back up and maybe return the favor, but someone who benefited from that is that 28, who now slides into the 3rd position here. We'll have to see if maybe the Stout is a little upset about that, and he'll move anyone out of the way now to get back up to where he was.
Well, he's being a little bit aggressive with Spurgeon. These two have raced each other a lot here today, and they're continuing it, trying to go at it for 3rd place now. Spurgeon took 3rd away. Stout trying to take it back. Meanwhile, Justin Atkins is saying, if you two fool around much longer, I'll take both those spots. So the 6 back up to 3rd by Spurgeon. Spurgeon good trying to keep 4th from Justin Atkins. All the while, Angel Gutierrez, Matthew Burnett, and Anthony Hernandez right just behind these guys in a line, while Chris Jericho continues to pull away and lead this race. Update on the front few in points. Luke Rennie, the 88, comes in 2nd in points, 40 back of Jay Brando. Luke right now rides in the 26th position. So not the best days. Obviously has some of that damage, but Jay Brando definitely getting the worst of it here today. Back in 33rd with that damage. Currently only ahead of Premax Shane, John Barrymore, Sabet Oskin, Jacob Miller, 39 David Dixon, and 15 Ryan Wilson. Hunter Reed's fallen 2 laps down from his damage repairs. And obviously the 2 cars out are Justin Zeidel and Max Davis. Spurgeon moves back to 3rd by Jordan Stout. Gutierrez got by Atkins for the top 5, and he wants even more. He's going for 4th now on this number 6 of Jordan Stout. What a drive, Trey, for, you know, not a driver that's slow, but a team that has not shown the pace at all this season.
Yeah, they have definitely struggled with where they've been racing at this season, and I don't think there's a more vocal driver than the guy behind that 70 out of anyone in these cars, and he'll let you know what he feels about it week in and week out. But you know, I don't think he'll have anything but good things to say after this one if he can continue to hold his position here in the top 10, or you know, even maybe go for a little bit of a podium spot.
I was going to say, yeah, he doesn't have anything bad to say yet, but we also have pit stops to come up, and, you know, pit crews, they could be worse with the worst team you get. So he's going to have to hope that his pit crew can do their work on pit road. Obviously, we know Gutierrez can drive an underfunded race car up to the front of the field at a track like Myrtle Beach. Remember at Richmond last season, he finished 3rd in that number 14 car, which, you know, shouldn't have been contending for even top 20 results, let alone a top 3 result. So Gutierrez right now putting work in that number 70. He's actually looking for 3rd place on Riley's Parade. He's among the giants of the sport. You know, Joe Gibbs Racing, Hendrick Motorsports, Robert Yates Racing, Roush Racing, another Hendrick, a DEI, an RCR. And here he is in that BAM Racing car inside the top 5 and working on the guy in 3rd place. That is just absolutely outstanding. As contact for 5th. Stout at the track. Burnett moves to 5th place. Jordan Stout might be getting bullied out there.
It's only by Hendrick guys though, isn't it?
It is. I mean, Hendrick and Roush. What's that about?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but that's the second time Stout's been moved by a Hendrick guy this race alone. So that Roush might be putting that in their notebook, saying no more gimmies for anyone in a Hendrick car.
Well, Trey, we're in the pit window, so we'll have to see. It looks like actually the leader's going to come in. So right on cue, Chris Jericho, the race leader, is going to lead him in. Keegan Thompson stays out, so he'll get to lead a lap. But how about this, Trey? The leader, the first one coming in. That's gutsy, because if a caution comes out, Trey, he could easily be caught a lap or 2 down with how short this racetrack is.
Yeah, that's the thing I was just thinking about, right? Normally we see, you know, guys trying to undercut the leader, but this time we'll have to see if the overcut is the way you want to go, and if these guys can keep it clean during pit cycles, if it's going to all work out. I didn't get to see what the distance was before he came in. Was it around 7/10 of a second, somewhere around there?
Yeah, it was about 7/8 of a second. As now here comes more guys. Angel Gutierrez says, I'm going to get to lead a lap here today.
Hey, he, like you mentioned, Joe, he's not up front very often. You might as well do it while you're out there.
So he took it, and that number 70 gets to the lead a lap here today. As Chris Jericho, the one benefit he had was that he had a clean pit road. So he got to get in with no one on. He got to get off with no one on. As Gutierrez now comes in, the 18 still stays out. Now this is a weird merge. As you can see some guys coming in. I think this 90 or the 7, he hasn't pitted yet. So he's going to stay out and get to lead a lap here today.
Everyone's just taking their share of leading laps.
Yes, they are. And I like to see that, especially some of these smaller teams. You know, it's great to see. But at the front, there's Spurley Tube. He's going to jump Chris Jericho here by staying out a little bit longer. But now the 18 has his tires up to temp. Can the 28 hold him off?
Did he come in the lap after Jericho or 2 laps after?
1 lap. The 2 came in, or the 5 came in 2 laps after. And there he is now leaving.
So it was definitely, close calls there. Got to be careful, guys.
You can't really leave this pit road side by side, can you?
We're good. I think we're all settled out, right?
For now. There's still cars, you know, filtering on off pit road.
Careful with the 70.
Yeah, the 70 coming out behind. I think that's going to be a lap car, Jacob Miller. But Gutierrez might cycle out in 4th place. And I think this next lap should cycle it to Riley Spurley Tube and Chris Jericho 1st and 2nd. They're going to have to pass the 7 here, there we go. So they've now passed the 7 on pit road. 28 leads, but the 18's right there. You have Keegan Thompson, he's going to be 3rd. Gutierrez is going to be 4th. Matthew Burnett is going to be 5th. Looks like Eli Bright's 6th. Then we're going to wait for the rest to cycle through. But here's the race for the lead. Riley Spurley Tube jumps Chris Jericho on pit road, so staying out. As caution! Into turn 1.
They got to be careful here.
Tegan Fox is hit hard in the 59 car.
What the heck happened there?
That's a weird place, entering a corner.
Yeah, so you'd have to think,
Maybe someone
misjudgment by a spotter maybe. It was, like you said, braking could have been a factor there. I'm not sure, Joe, but this is going to change the outcome of this race right here.
Yes, it is, but luckily for all these guys, pit road cycled through. right? That's the best part. We're not going to get anything where guys are trapped a lap or two down. It's just going to be now everyone's cycled out to where they are, but that's great to see, because we didn't want to see, this come down to a random, chance of fate, But,
Yeah, it's gonna be weird. That's major damage for the 39. Looks like they're gonna try to get it back out there. I don't know if that's the best thing. 45's back on pit road. Don't know if it was due to this or not, but his teammate was definitely involved with major damage on the rear end and possibly a little bit on the front as well.
Remember, Crown Jr. is running inside the top 10, and I think he maybe lost some ground on pit road. We'll go check out what happened, though. Second caution flag is out with about 30 laps to go here in Myrtle Beach. Looks like a pretty big crash down in turns 1 and 2 for Tegan Fox and some other guys towards the back. All right, Trey, this goes back about a lap. This is Crown Jr. Mitchell Collins leaving the original time with Anthony Hernandez. You had mentioned how close this was, leaving pit road. They're 3 wide. And right here, though, Trey, the rules say you have to stay on the apron, but all 3 making contact, they come up on the racetrack. So, Trey, what is that but a penalty, right?
Yeah, it's a stop and go here. So you can see all of them come out, almost contact with the 6 there, Stout. They all come in, right? So all spaced out even, maybe a little bit of hold up there by the 7, but Joe, these 3 still got to make their stop and go.
Yeah, so they all came out together on the first one when they all were taking 4 tires and a full tank of fuel. See, Mitchell Collins, he went into his stop and go. Here comes Crown Jr. into his stop and go. But they leave together, Trey. So now they're side by side again. The 12 with a little bit of advantage. Honestly, if I'm Crown Jr. at that point, I maybe just get up behind him, right?
Yeah, but you want to know the weird thing?
Oh.
Hey, it was almost a reenactment of what happened last time, but this time around, yeah, they wrecked it. And talk about bad luck there.
Yeah, you have to feel bad for these 3 underfunded teams, right? David Dixon and Tegan Fox and Ahmed Walid. They just kind of piled in. They had nothing to do with the original contact, and they get involved, and they honestly get the worst of it, right?
Yeah. I mean, for the 3 guys that were the ones that caused it, they all pretty much drove away, but this 59 was done, right? Head on into the wall doesn't work. The 39 has major damage as well. We saw them trying to get back out there, and I believe the other one was the 91. They might not have as much damage, but they were still involved in something that was not their mess, and I don't know if NASCAR is going to be the happiest with the 1, the 12, and the 43, because that was two pit roads, or that was 2 laps in a row.
Yeah, just think if they kept it clean on the second one, they would have had another penalty, probably.
Yeah.
Because they probably all would have forced each other up. So that's just some chaos to go around with a new racetrack, right? These guys haven't been on and off pit road together, and that's the end result. And meanwhile, the end result of pit cycles here was that Riley Spurgeon jumped Chris Jericho on pit road, but now a restart, and the 18's going to be hungry to get back to the front. So let's see, can Spurgeon hold on? Can Jericho get back by him, or will someone else come up from a little bit further back to get up to the race lead in the second half of the Hooters 400 here at Myrtle Beach? Back here at Myrtle Beach, 25 laps to go at the green flag. The field all shuffled up now. Some guys have come from the back to top 10, top 15 spots. Tegan Fox is out. Cars a lap down include Crown Jr., Hernandez, and Collins from their pit road penalties. Luke Rain's a lap down, so is John Barrymore, so is Jacob Miller. Hunter Reed was 2 laps down, but he stayed out under that green flag pit cycle, got his laps back. The caution came out. He came down pit road under the caution flag, so he's back on the lead lap. Back to the green flag racing. Riley Spurgeon, who has the lead. Chris Jericho's looking low, and Keegan Thompson's looking lower. Nearly 3 wide off turn 2 for the top spot. Those front 3 get away. Then they have a lap car between them in 4th place, Angel Gutierrez. So it could be a 3-car race at this moment, unless Gutierrez and some of the guys behind can get clear of lap traffic. But for the lead, pulls here to Jericho, trying to get back on Riley Spurgeon into turn 1.
They got to be careful here there with this restart. Everyone's all bunched up together now. It's really anyone's game, so any small mistake here could really cost everyone here. You can see Jericho almost go up the track. Really did hit the 28 there. He's going to lose 2 positions because of that. He's now back down to 3rd. Keegan Thompson now is in 2nd, looking to take the lead.
So Riley Spurgeon 1st to 3rd, Thompson 3rd to 2nd, Jericho 2nd to 1st. But it's not over for Jericho. Thompson looked to get a run, but got tight off the corner. Had to lift. He drops back a few car lengths. The 18 gets the clean air. He gets back out in front, but can he hold it like he did in the first stage of the race? We're going to find out over the next 22 laps. The 18 back out in front. Thompson, though, hungry for another victory in 2nd place. And Trey, remember, he still has not yet finished inside the top 5 without winning since like 2002 or whatever it is. I mean, it's absolutely crazy what this number 5 team has done. Can they continue that streak here tonight with another race victory? Going for the lead on Jericho into turn 1. He has the position down to the inside.
Oh, watch the car coming off. We should be fine. Doesn't have a hood. That's no problem. That's more going to be a problem. Everyone else behind them there. As you can see, everyone's kind of jockeying for position. Keegan finally gets out into the lead. He's going to clear himself here. 18 does not have the grip up top. Eli's almost in the hole in the back. That's another guy going from first to third, another one from third to second, and another one from second to first.
How about Jerry Chen moving up out of nowhere? So is Jude Martinelli, so is Tim Gary. All these guys that didn't really start out well, they are racing their way up inside the top 10. There's Martinelli moving by Angel Gutierrez for a top 5, and Tim Gary from the back of the field going for 6th on this number 70. There's all sorts of battling around this half-mile racetrack. At the front, it's still these 3, then the lap car, Jacob Miller. Battle for 4th. Chen has it, Martinelli wants it. Tim Gary waiting in the wings. Gutierrez dropping on this run so far. Here comes DeLello to his inside. That's for 7th place. Sebastian Kukulan started last. He failed inspection after qualifying, but he's up inside the top 10. He's up to 9th place.
Yeah, this really did shuffle everything around here. They got to be careful. You can see there's a bunch of jumbled up guys here because of that 39 who is slower. But right now, I mean, with this restart, it has shuffled up everyone. The people who were not inside the top 10 are now inside the top 10, and we're really going to see who has the best short to medium run car here to finish this thing out.
Yep, it's about half or so of a fuel run that left to go. Eli Bright, who's back by Gutierrez for 9th place, and Sarah Kirchner coming from the back is trying to get inside the top 10. For the lead, Spurtube's not letting Thompson get away, and Trey, surprisingly on this run, Chris Jericho's the one dropping off the front two.
Well, yeah, I mean, remember the first one, right? We went one lap, he let it, caution, single file restart, then after that, once we had that restart, he kind of took off, and like I mentioned, he kind of paced his own race out there, was probably able to save his stuff out, come pit stops. But this time around, he had pressure from the start of this restart to right now, and he might be suffering a little bit by that. This is the first time he's really been in dirty air.
Yeah, this is the worst 18 has looked so far here tonight. Back to 3rd place for the lead. Spurtube is back by Keegan Thompson. The 5 goes really wide. Thompson's going to have to surrender all that time to Spurgeon. The 20 gets away. Now can the 5 Trey regroup and try and run him back down, or is that going to be too big of a gap to run back down over these last 14 laps?
It's going to be hard to tell, but Joe, I see one lapper up ahead, so you never know. That could play a factor, but it's weird to me watching these cars react how they do on the outside. You try to drive it in there if you're on their quarter panel, the right quarter panel, right? But then all of a sudden, the car gets really tight, and they just drive it straight up to the wall. It's very strange how they react like that.
Tim Gary is moving up. He got by Martinelli for 5th. He's going on Jerry Chen for 4th. If the front few keep battling like they are, he could have a shot for a really good result. Sebastian Kukulan could have a shot for a top 5. He's got by the 77. He's up to 5th place. He's absolutely flying from the back of the field. Gary's by Chen, trying to get by Jericho as well as Bridger trying to get by the lap car of Brown Jr. That brings Thompson back into it. There's cars all over each other at the front of the field. 11 laps to go. Spurgeon still leads, but the gap a lot smaller than it was just a few laps to go. Down to 0.2 of a second, and Thompson still gaining in turn 1.
You can see the 28's really pushing and went really wide in that set of corners there. Not what you want to do here. Now he's going to go medium, but Keegan's going to get the run off exit. Look at the dive to the inside.
Keegan Thompson for the lead at Myrtle Beach with great stuff late in the going. 10 laps to go. Thompson to the inside. He's going to try and get by this number 28 car. Side by side off turn number 2. The 5 has the preferred inside lane. He'll send it in deep. And the number 5 is back out in front. Can Spurgeon to fend off these lap cars and Jericho? I don't think so, Trey. Spurgeon might fall back. This could be the biggest break for Keegan Thompson. He could easily get away now from the field.
He's definitely not where he wants to be. He's on the outside with the lap car on the inside. Looks like Jericho's going to stick behind the 28 right now, but I don't know if that's really what you want to do. But don't take your eyes off this 29. He might not be able to get to the lead, but he could definitely still second away from here.
He's 5th place now for 42nd at the start. What a drive, especially at a short track for Sebastian Kukulan. Jericho's trying to get second from Riley Spurgeon. Tim Gary's watching on in 4th. Then you have Kukulan. He might want 4th place from that number 10 car. He dives to the inside. But Jericho and Spurgeon, they stop battling. 7 laps to go. But now there's a lap car between them and the race leader, Keegan Thompson, but also 0.6 of a second between them and the race leader, Keegan Thompson. The 5 could easily keep that lead over these final 6.5 laps.
We'll have to see how things all level out here. Right now, the only one that's comfortable is this 5, and all he's got to do is just hit his marks and bring it home, because 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and so on are stuck behind this 9 lap car. And if they want to catch Keegan, they got to get past the lap car, which is normally, pretty easy because they're damaged. But, Joe, I don't really know if this one's that bad.
No, Jacob
Oh,
Miller just
Jericho.
fell a lap down from pit road. See the 18 go way wide. Kukulan's up to third. So Thompson might have to thank his lucky stars this race isn't 10 laps longer, because that 29 is on a tear through this field. Jericho went high in 3 and 4 last lap. He might surrender another spot to Tim Gary. That could drop him back to 5th place. It could drop him back even more, because here comes Chen and Martinelli, and Lathan Strickland is moving up at the end of this race. 4 laps to go, half a second between Keegan Thompson and Riley Spurgeon. Then Kukulan is there. Spurgeon gets by Jacob Miller, so that buffer's gone. The question is there too much gap to make up to the number 5? Spurgeon sends it in deep. He gets by Miller, and he closes on the 5. 3 laps to go. This might not be over yet for Riley Spurgeon and Keegan Thompson.
We'll have to see. You got to remember, he gained a 10th right there on that lap alone, trying to pass a lap car. So if anyone's scared about that, it's the crew chief on top of the box of the 5. But Joe, I don't think you're going to tell Keegan that.
No, you are not. You're just going to say focus out that windshield and do your thing. 2 laps to go. The gap between them stabilized at 0.4 of a second. Keegan Thompson, Riley Spurgeon, Sebastian Kukulan is right there looking for second place. Coming to see the white flag in the Hooters 400. Thompson in control, looking for a second short track victory of the season. Kukulan won second from Riley Spurgeon. Here's the white flag for Keegan Thompson. Half a mile to go. He'll win for the second time this season. It would be a second top 5 of the season. Kukulan's through to second, but it's not enough time. Up the back straightaway for the final time. Thompson in control into turns 3 and 4. If it were a few laps longer, it would have been different, but it's not. It's over. Keegan Thompson is the winner at Myrtle Beach.
So what's that record up to now, Joe?
It's a lot of races in a row that Keegan Thompson has not finished inside the top 5 without winning the race trade. That is I don't know how that's even possible.
It's impressive though. You got to say that. That's a stat that goes onto a wall somewhere, whether it's at Hendrick or his own house. It's something.
And how fitting, right, is that at the end of this race, it was a driver he despises, Sebastian Kukulan, running him down at the end. And Trey, if this race were just 5 laps longer, I mean, that would have been one heck of a fight between the 29 and the 5 to see who gets the victory lane there.
Yeah, I don't know what they did to that 29, but he was absolutely flying there on that after that last restart. And like you mentioned, 5 laps longer, he's at the back of Keegan. 10 laps longer, he's probably leading this thing, right? But I mean, that just shows you got to be up front after when it counts. And 29 wasn't there, and the 5 was, and the winner's Keegan Thompson.
Yep, second time this season. He also entered tied for 3rd on the points with Chris Jericho. So this is a big momentum boost because remember, Rando didn't have a good day. Luke Rainey fell a lap down. He didn't have a good day. So the front 2 in points faltered. 3rd and 4th place in points, they benefit. And so did 5th place in points and 6th place in points. And all those guys behind, they all outpointed the front 2 in points. This is going to be another major point shakeup as we now go take a look at the finishing results from the inaugural Nextel Cup Series race for Myrtle Beach. Keegan Thompson out front when it mattered most. He wins the race. Sebastian Kukulan had to come from 42nd place on the grid. He ends up in 2nd here today. Riley Spurgeon ends up in 3rd in car number 28. Still looking for that first victory of the season. They'll definitely take another top 3 result. Tim Gary with the top 5 in 4th place. He started very poorly here today. And Chris Jericho from pole dominated the early part of the race, led the most laps. Best himself for 5th place. His car fell off towards the end. Jerry Chen, Jude Martinelli, Lathan Strickland, Sarah Kirchner, and Zach DeLello complete the top 10. All those guys really had to fight for everything here today. They had to come from a bit further back, and that just showed some gutsy drives out of those guys. How about Gary's teammate Evan Hunter? Had to come from a similar distance back of Gary. Evan Hunter gets 11th here today. 12th to Baby Ruiz, another driver that had to fight back through to adversity. Conrad Evans in 13th. Keyshawn Richardson, for like the 18th time this season, ends up finishing inside the top 15, but outside the top 10. I think this is now the 8th time in 12 races that he's finished inside the top 15, but not inside the top 10. And oh, by the way, he only has 1 top 10 finish this season, but he's nearly top 10 in points. In fact, he might be top 10 in points after this race because Hunter Reed had a bad showing. So, Keyshawn Richardson, it's not anything flashy, but it's consistent enough to keep him up in that championship fight. You have Eli Bright, Mathis Wells right there just inside the top 20. Matthew Burnett kind of fell back late. Laura Chung didn't have the car at many points here tonight. Jordan Stout fell back to 19th. Justin Atkins back to 20th. Angel Gutierrez was racing up inside the top 5 in points, but that restart did not go his way. He ends up 21st. Benny Lynn, Tyler Belladonna, Matt Tuck with a very solid day. Drew Webb, there's Jay Rando, the points leader, 26th after sustaining damage in that early crash. So Medalskin, there's Hunter Reed, fought back for everything he could after falling 2 laps down earlier. Ahmed Wallet had some damage, so did Ryan Wilson. Nathan Baird and Prey McShane last cars on the lead lap. Miller was a lap down, so was Luke Rainey and Anthony Hernandez, John Barrymore, Mitchell Collins all the way down, Crown Jr. 2 down, David Dixon 3 down, obviously the 3 cars out, Tegan Fox, and then the 2 from the first accident, Zidell and the number 21 of Max Davis. As now, we'll go take a look at the point standings, and this is now 12 races in. Trey, the front 2 in points, not the best at nights. Meanwhile, 3rd place Keegan Thompson wins. 4th place Chris Jericho, top 5. Tim Gary, top 5. Evan Hunter, 11th. Mathis Wells, 16th. Zachary DeLello, top 10. Sarah Kirchner, top 10. So basically everyone behind Jay Brando, Trey, behind Jay Brando and Luke Rainey, they all finished inside the top 20 here tonight.
Hey, I mean, at this point, any ground is good ground, right, Joe? Nothing's over till it's over. And if this 5 can continue to either, finish outside the top 5 or win, that's it's going to get them there.
Yeah, you know, if Keegan Thompson is either 1st or 6th to 42nd, nothing in between that as far as, you know, dating back to 2002. I mean, all of his wins last season were top 5 finishes. So far as 2 wins this season, his only top 5 finishes. We'll have to see, does that trend continue? And good news for Keegan Thompson, next race out, another short track race. So we're going racing at the North Wilkesboro Speedway for the Dodge 400. That's going to be a fun one because it's another Nextel Challenge race. We know Evan Hunter is qualified for the big prize if he can try and win next race out, and then a few races after that. But if someone new wins next time, we know that major prize is out the window, but there's still some other prizes that can be awarded to drivers if they win multiple of the Nextel Challenge races. We'll have to see how it all plays out next week on JRTV from the North Wilkesboro Speedway. But tonight, it's all about Keegan Thompson, number 5 team. They win 2 for 2 on short track so far this season, and the first Saturday night race of the season goes to Keegan Thompson. Congratulations to he and the number 5 team. For Trey Bardo and Joe Rakowski, so long from the inaugural Myrtle Beach race in the Nextel Cup Series, but tune into JRTV next week for another short track at North Wilkesboro.